Now moving on to the final updates of the day, we've got gold on the 4-hour time frame. We've had that 4-hour break of structure in towards the downside, and this is the current swing range that we are trading within. Now after this switch bullish here, we was anticipating potentially coming up for one of these points of liquidity. However, it seems to be that after taking this high here, we have got enough momentum to start pushing us down lower. If we go down onto the 1-hour time frame, what we can see is that we've seen a break of this high here, swing low, swing high, yet we managed to get a liquidation of this high, and then we've seen this demand zone here fail, creating an area of supply which you could potentially look for that next short position down. We've now liquidated this low here, and if we liquidate this low and we don't see that reaction, it's inevitable that we're going to start pushing down lower again. I do want to see that 4-hour low get taken and that daily point of liquidity that we spoke about a few days ago. I'd like to see one of them get taken before we can then potentially reevaluate our analysis. But on the 15-minute, we are looking relatively similar. We've had this 15-minute break of structure up, swing low, swing high. We've taken significant liquidity. We have this supply zone in control, and I will potentially be looking for another short. If we see a liquidation of these highs, we see that confirmation, I will be happy to look for a short. I am quite bearish on gold now, alongside my bullish bias on the DXY. And for the final updates of the day, we've got Bitcoin on the daily time frame. We had that break of structure in towards the downside, and this is the current swing range. Now, from a market structure and a liquidity point, I want to see this high here get taken, see that structure shift, and then you have that perfect short position. However, it is important to note that this is not quite at the 50%. If we do see a break above and we see a little bit of a push up and then we see a strong rejection down, you could consider that happy with the PVD. But in terms of just liquidity, I just don't see price coming up and taking these highs with the bullish bias on the dollar and like the neutral to bearish bias on Bitcoin. And therefore, if we do see a liquidation of this high and we see the confirmation, I will be looking for a short position, even if it is slightly less probability. If we go down though onto the 4-hour time frame, what we can see is that we've had a break of structure here in towards the downside, swing high, swing low. We've had this demand chain that's been pushing price in towards the upside, and the most important thing for me at the moment is not to short whilst demand is still in control. What I would want to see is a clear break and close below this low here, a retracement in towards that newly created area of supply, where you can then look for that higher probability short.